Good evening, everyone. Thank you for spending your evening with us on this Educational Thursday at both sides of the conversation. You guessed it, John Henry is not here. He is on the move. You know, both sides of the conversation is always everywhere. But nonetheless, you have me, Khalees, and I'm here with both sides of the conversation. So one thing I wanted to share with you. So the mission of both sides of the conversation, if you all did not know, is to analyze the needs of the Black and Brown community, criticize any barriers that impact the advancement of the community, and then mobilize to support the community in overcoming these barriers. We do this through open dialogue and community outreach. We're about the action community. We believe in blessing the people, all about the action. So that's why John Henry, the bishop, is not here, because we are about that action. We make things happen. So one thing, we do have a great treat for you all tonight. I don't know if you know what this month is. It is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. And so with that being said, we have a lot going on and a great treat for you all. But before we get started in that, there's been a lot going on around. I don't know if you've all heard Mayor London Breed. She gave a great video and updated the community on the arrest and the standing of the community. There was a long documentary that they had expressed how the crime rate is down in San Francisco. It's at 85%, but more to come on that. But London Breed really, she really let you all know, don't hold your breath, because we're going to come out on top. So one of the world's deadliest volcanoes could erupt in the coming days. I don't know if you know that, but there's a volcano out in Colombia that has laid dormant since it erupted in 1985. It has strange and surge seismic activity that is awaiting. I'm talking about, it has had an unbelievable 6,000 earthquakes per day in the last week. So this is alarming everyone. The last one in 1985, it killed more than 25,000 people. And it is one of the fourth deadliest volcanic eruptions in human history. So this thing is about to move, and they're predicting that. So right now it's called the Colombia's Nevado del Ruiz. It's registered. And right now they've already let folks know in the area, 2,500 families in the area, that they're going to have to evacuate. So in the hazard zone is 57,000 people. So we already know what's about to happen. More news. 18,000, you heard it, 18,000 cattle were killed in a Texas dairy farm explosion, one of the deadliest fires involving animals. So this explosion happened in Texas at the Panhandle, and it critically injured one person, and it killed, like I said, 18,000 cattle. And it's one of the deadliest barn fires that's been recorded. And they think that it has something to do with overheated equipment, and they're going to be investigating that. The suspect arrested for allegedly threatening the California state capitol. So earlier today, I don't know if you all knew, but in Roseville, they finally caught the suspect that issued that they made some threats. And so the Capitol didn't get to carry out their regular business for the day. They had to relocate their meetings because there was a threat. So no one could go to the Capitol, and the folks that already arrived there had to stay put. Now, this person was also arrested for two earlier shootings. His name is Jackson Adam Penny, 30 years old. They arrested him today at 4 p.m. And what's so bad about it, he's just been going haywire, but they're on it. Alameda County DA Pamela Price answers critics. She says she's held to a different standard than her predecessor. She's faced backlash over controversial plea bargain, ending sentencing enhancements, and her handling of high-profile homicide cases. Yes, they're complaining on her. Price ran on a progressive platform that puts an emphasis on restorative justice. She wants to give folks second chances. Now, we said she's a DA. Yes, she's Black. Price said she's held to a different standard than her predecessor. And the predecessor's name is Nancy O'Malley. What I can do is do my job, said Price. We have an obligation to administer justice fairly and transparently. Now, that is some tough, strong words. Yes, so we're supporting what she believes in, and we'll see what comes out of that. San Francisco police arrested Nima Momeni, the founder of Expand IT in Emeryville. She was arrested in connection with the fatal stabbing death of Cash App founder Bob Lee earlier this month. Now, Mayor London Breed spoke on that. So you all have to look back at the news and watch the video. It's all over the media. This stabbing that happened, I mean, there's have been the FBI has been involved. It's very high profile. But San Francisco, kudos to all of the folks that were on that case because they have not gotten any rest. They were determined to find out how this stabbing occurred and to make San Francisco more safer. And so they have arrested this woman out of Emeryville. And yes, it was a woman. And so unfortunately, this is just awful community. So much is always happening, but we have a lot of good things also happening. We have community events. We have free things going on. I mean, we have an upcoming skating party that both sides of the conversation is participating with the YMCA, and that's going to be coming up. I mean, we even have transportation for that. So there's a lot going on, and we're going to get into the details of our events right now. We're going to go ahead and bring on our youth, Sanaya Lee. Hi, Sanaya. How are you? Say hello to the community.
Hi, community.
Yes.
Okay. So here are some upcoming events. Behind or trouble paying rent, San Francisco Emergency Rental Assistance Program is having tenant counselors. You can get more information at sfgov/rent help. And you have eviction papers, you can email or the Gmail below, or you can apply at the website below. Women Got Game, Women of Color Gaming Summit and Esports Tournament on April 15th. You get more information at the link below. Beam is having a Black Economic Equity Movement. It's a guaranteed income project for people living in San Francisco and Oakland. The deadline is April 16th. You can apply at the link below. Enough, Plays to End Gun Violence. Calls for submissions now through April 20th. Calls for teenagers to submit a 10-minute play that confronts the issues of gun violence. You can get more information at the website down below. SF Emergency Preparedness Community Fair. Learn to protect yourself during a disaster. This is happening April 22nd, 11 a.m. through 3 p.m. at the SF Main Library at 100 Larkin Street. You can get more information at the link below. There's a Bay Area Girls Teen Summit workshops. There'll be prizes, it's free, and all meals are provided. This is happening April 29th, 8 a.m. through 7 p.m. at Williams Chapel Baptist Church at 1410 10th Avenue, Oakland. You can register at the link down below. Both sides of the conversation and the YMCA are hosting a skate party. There will be skate rentals, food, raffles, and transportation available. This is happening May 6th, 6:30 p.m. through 9:30 p.m. at the Golden Skate 2701 Hopper Drive, San Ramon. You can register at the event below. And P is having a dance studio presents Dancing with the Ancestors. This is happening May 6th, 6 p.m. at the VIP Theater, 2029 East Harding Way, Stockton. It costs $20, and you can email this email down below for more information. Mackey's Corner is presenting a suicide awareness and prevention. This is happening June 3rd, Gilman Park, San Francisco. Info on how you can help at this Gmail or this phone number down below. San Francisco is happening. You can save the dates. There's June 10th parade, the June 16th City Hall kickoff and gala, June 17th Fillmore Festival, and the June 18th Bayview Festival. You get more information at the link down below. And Magic Zone is having a 2023 summer program. This is happening June 12th through August 4th, 8 a.m. through 5:30 p.m. at 1050 McAllister Street. Get more information at the link down below. In the Youth First / OMI Family Day, there'll be a bounce house, a 360 machine, bull riding, food, raffles, a bookmobile, and a Sugar Bears appearance. This is happening July 7th, 12 p.m. through 5 p.m. at Merced Heights Playground, 801 Shield Street, SF. City Kids is having a Creator Con. Save the date. Free creative outlets, art, music, and fashion. This is happening July 14th, 11 a.m. through 12:30 p.m. at 200 Block of Jones Street. There will be more information incoming. Youth First and Invest Black Comedy and Awards Show. This is happening August 11th at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. This is happening at Brotherhood Masonic Center, 855 Brotherhood Way, San Francisco. $50, food included. You can register at the Eventbrite down below. Now here are some more recent events. These are ongoing in the community. The SFHRC is having a regular bi-monthly commission meeting. every second and fourth Thursday at 5 p.m. SF City Hall room 416, or you can join the Zoom. African American Reparations Advisory Committee is having monthly meetings virtually at 5:30 p.m. every second Monday. You can register at the link down below. Remove Rev. Amos Brown from the NAACP and Reparations Task Force. Reverend Brown does not represent the change we need. Both sides of the conversation needs your support and signature. You can sign the petition at the link down below. Now here are some scholarships and jobs available in the community right now. The City and County of San Francisco has an upcoming career event. It's a career research fair that's happening April 15th, 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. at the Civic Center Plaza, 355 McAllister Street, San Francisco. You can register at the link down below. And you can join our youth team, actually. If SF youth volunteers are needed, there's a paid stipend. You have to be a high school or college honor roll student. You can join us at the email down below. We also are in need of volunteers to give back to the community. We are in need of a director of HR finance, IT and development, a fundraising coordinator, event planner, production assistant, marketing. You can get more information at the email down below. Both sides of the conversation is in search of volunteers. Our work is inspiring and feels good. We make a difference in the community with tangible results to show it. We are a highly driven group with a high impact. We get the right things done the right way. Not only will you contribute to the community, but you'll also learn a lot and gain knowledge in your field and interest within the organization. We value your ideas and input. Sign up to be a volunteer today and you can make a difference. Also, go to all of our social media sites for more news on how to give back to your community and support both sides of the conversation. Thank you, community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sanaya. I tell you, our youth team is outstanding. And so, as Sanaya shared, volunteer community, especially the youth, we support and empower our youth. Come to both sides of the conversation. You'll see how we embrace you and how we prepare you to get to these things that are happening in life. Now, as Sanaya stated, we have a both sides of the conversation in YMCA partnership. We're having a skating party. Yes, you heard it. So save that date, May 6th. And the transportation is actually leaving from the Bayview YMCA. There's a bus. They'll leave at 5 p.m. and get you back there at 10 p.m. So it's important. Come out, support. And as Sanaya also shared, if you have not liked, subscribe, you can even comment on YouTube, ask questions, because we know that you have burning questions. But without further ado, today is Educational Thursdays. It's always great and educational. And like I shared, this is Financial Literacy Month. And because this is Literacy Awareness Month, there's a lot to be said. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up Cynthia Yannacone and Sean Johnson. I tell you, we have so much to say, community, and I look forward to hearing what they are. Welcome.
Yes. Hi. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's good.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes. Good to be here. I'm really excited. Yes, it's Financial Literacy Awareness Month. Really important for this day and age, especially with everything that we've gone through and going through and the future that we have ahead.
Absolutely.
Yes, no, it's
being here.
Yeah, it's definitely great to be here. I know it feels like it's been a minute, but it's always good to be here, and especially this month, it means that much more to us, just because this is our field. This is the area that we eat, sleep, drink, breathe, everything of that financial literacy and education, knowledge and awareness, and just getting back into the community so everybody has that same opportunity for success, because it's not above anybody. It's not too good for anybody. This is for all of us. We want to make sure we're continuing to be in the community just like y'all are, and make sure we're doing our part to give back and give people that opportunity for success. So thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So both sides of the conversation, really appreciate you all coming and spending your evening and blessing the people with all this education on financial awareness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to you so that I also can be educated and blessed as well. So I'll go ahead and remove myself while you all present what you have for the community.
All right.
Well, thank you. I also just want to say, like, in my background are the books, really good, important books, and in regards to addressing some financial literacy. So I'll take it away.
All right. So let's see. Are y'all able to see the screen now that I shared?
It's not come up yet. There it goes. I think it's
There we go. Awesome. Cool. So, hey, that's us. There's our contact info. Go and take a screenshot, but we'll, of course, show it again later. I know it'll be up on the banners and everything, but hey, hello again. It is great to be here. It's always awesome and fun times to be here, and just to have the opportunity to give back to our communities, because, again, getting back and helping out to give back to the Black and Brown communities just means so much more to us than just going out and talking to any old person. So it means a lot to us. So, Cynthia?
Yes. So I just wanted to share why I started getting really more involved around this. You know, my dad passed away in 2018. And when he did, he didn't have a pension. I mean, his pension plan was lost. He didn't have a living trust. And he didn't actually have a life insurance either. And my mom already had lost her 401k. And I feel like this brought up so many things for me growing up and, you know, being a single mom and stuff. So my dad, you know, we always tried to have these conversations around money, but it was really difficult because I think since we're always brought up with different beliefs, my dad had these beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees. You know, I'm not made of money, or I'm broke. And I just thinking of all these things and all these ways of thinking that there's not enough money, or not even knowing. We couldn't even have these conversations. And I, quote unquote, went to school. I got, you know, my college degrees. And yet, you know, when my dad started to talk to me about money, there was just a lot of shame behind it. And I didn't know about it. I mean, I know about some of the things that we are going to talk about a little bit. My dad used to tell me about 401ks, but honestly, I didn't know about it. And, you know, now that I know what I know, I can't act like I don't know. So my dad has been this big inspiration for me to continue on sharing with people the tough conversation he wanted to have with me that I was too uncomfortable to have, but I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have the knowledge, honestly. And, you know, I'm just really glad to be here. You know, my dad, I had a very close relationship with him. And, you know, he's very family oriented. I know that, you know, family is important, especially for our, you know, our cultures and stuff. And, you know, it's my big family with my brothers and sisters and my kids when they were a lot younger. And honestly, right now, this day and age, that's my thing too. Like, bringing awareness. It was in April of 2019 that I went out and gave more, you know, information, gave financial literacy information out, and little by little things started going and growing. And I just want to put a shout out to John Mendoza. That kind of he was one of my biggest inspirations, that we're kind of working a lot together now in this day and age too. So I'll let Sean pass it on to Sean now, but thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia. And we always like to open up and tell you all a little bit about us, because we're real people just like you. We've gone through it and been through it. We've made money. We've lost money. We've made all the crazy decisions that we thought were right or didn't have a clue what was right. But hey, excuse me, we went on ahead and did it because we were going through life the same way that every single one of you are and have done. So we just want you to know that when you reach out to us, you talk to us, you're talking to people that are just regular old people, just like you, that have that desire to give back. So for me, something that inspired me was this is our family's cabin up in Tahoe. And it's not a big place or anything, but you know what? It's ours. It belongs to our family. And it belongs to our family because my grandparents, when they bought it, they had the proper plans in place. So I remember when my grandfather passed away, 2 days before I started high school, I remember asking my dad, well, shoot, what's going to happen to the cabin now that Gramps is gone? And he said, oh, don't worry about it. Gramps had something in place. So when he passed away, the cabin would be paid for. So I went on about my way as a blind little high school and didn't think anything of it. Fast forward, I get introduced to this industry and this business, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Gramps and Nana had life insurance. They had plans in place. They had the estate plans in place to make sure that the assets that they worked hard for the family would always be in the family. They wouldn't get taken away by the government. And because they did that, it created a place where even during COVID, my cousins and I, we could all get together and hang out. They became our bubble during COVID. We got to hang out in the winter. We got to hang out in the summer. My lady and I had a great place to go get away. And you know what? Now my lady and I have been blessed with an awesome little guy. And you know what? Just that's another generation that's going to be able to go out there and enjoy something that was set up by 2 generations ago for him. And I want to show other people. I want to be there to be able to give back, help people avoid the hurdles and the pitfalls that we've gone through, and be able to set themselves up so they can have this family legacy as well that they're able to pass on to the next generation and next and next from there. So this is Financial Literacy Month, so welcome to it. I know we're about halfway through, but guess what? That's okay. We're not too late. We're right on time. And when it comes to financial literacy, I know we always talk about literacy, but there's a difference. What's the difference between literacy and education? What's the difference between literacy and education? I can read, that's for sure. But am I educated on the areas that are most important for me? Are you educated on the areas that are most important for you and your family? So when we think about literacy, we've heard of what's out there. We've heard that there's 401ks and bank accounts and 529s and all these other plans. But to be educated, to truly be educated, do we actually know what those plans are? And do we know how to properly implement each individual plan into our personal plan to achieve success? And that's what we're here for, because there's a lot out there. We're going to break down a couple of the options that are out there tonight for you, but there's a lot out there, and we want y'all to know you've got people you can reach out to that will make it simple, make it easy, so you can make an educated, knowledgeable decision as to what moves, what tools are best for you and your family to have the success that you're looking for. So glad y'all are here. We appreciate it. Like I said, I think it's been a minute since we've been here. Actually, last time is this first time we've been on since we got to go to the bowling alley, and I forgot I had this hat back there. We were talking about it earlier. Hey, go out there and support the events. We had such a great time over there at Seabowl and Pacifica with both sides of the conversation. I got to go out there with my son and create some memories with him. He's not going to remember. We took pictures, but I actually grew up bowling there. So just get out there, have those good times out there in the community. Take some time like this, like you're on tonight, invest in yourself so that you can be in a position to give back and make sure that your family's successful, and you get to take those good times with your family as well. So Cynthia, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so a person either, I don't know if you can hear an echo, but a person either is disciplined their finances, or their finances disciplines them. So, with that, it's like we need to really come to understand how important it is, to have the knowledge around finances, and plan ahead and, look at what the future may bring, because if not, you'll be stuck in different ways that, what it says, like, if you get yourself in debt or other things that may happen, it'll tie you up. And, it's just really important if a person either, learns how to discipline their own finances with this information. So again, like focusing on when are we going to do this? Like, I know that we always think that we have enough time to do things, but the time to really change is now. Make different decisions, make different choices, get informed, but take action. Because I just, realizing my own experience after, I'm telling you, my dad passed away, life-changing experiences make for life-changing decisions. And I didn't know what I didn't know. And so now that I know what I know, again, like I had to make some different choices, because luckily I do have a home, and I would have lost it. And God was good, because if I would have been gone too soon, it would have been horrible. And I had to make those changes at that point. So starting with the end in mind, right? I think it's really important to think about, your goals and dreams. When do you want to retire? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? With that, starting with all that, and then putting things into place so that could happen. We're constantly thinking, our mind never stops, right? And I'm sure you might have heard this. I'm just going to throw out some numbers. Maybe out of the 90,000 thoughts we have a day, maybe 1,000 are good thoughts, right? So our mind is always going. And if we start to put put ourselves in situations and learning different things, especially around finances, it just keeps growing on top of each other if you give yourself the opportunity. And I'm just saying that again, like Sean was saying, we have our experiences. I've been in debt, out of debt, in debt, out of debt. And, having to buy my house out from the city just last year, that was a whole different experience. But, just my mind and growing that is just so important. So start with the end in mind of what kind of lifestyle you want to have. When do you want to retire? And, again, it's really important, right, to get that physical exam once a year, right? And where would you go to do that? Obviously, you would go see a doctor, right, to see that. And that's why it's really important, you go see a professional when your health, because health equals wealth. And health is so important, because without health, you ain't got nothing, in a sense. So, I always say that, like, health equals wealth, and how you need to take care of yourself, however that looks to you. And most of the time we don't think about this, but when was the last time that you did your own financial health check? Because we don't have, like, I'm telling you, my dad's story is so real. It's like he wanted someone to talk to him and guide him and tell him. But even when he worked at Kaiser, they just told him to sign up for the 401k. Then they never really told him how it worked and any other products and stuff that are out there. So we are professionally licensed. As you can see, it's really important. And we do things, for our community to inform, educate, and help them make different decisions and have options and choices. So important to get that annual or even biannual financial check. So looking into, like, the first steps, the PFR, the personal financial review, that's so important. That's the first thing we do with people who are interested in really kind of like looking at what do they have, figuring out what are their goals, their needs, their timelines, and where they're at. Everybody's all in a different space and place. But, again, the younger you are, like, the two factors in creating wealth is time and money. There's always, a better chance. I'm always talking to my kids about this as well. So it's real. And they're 18, 20, and one's older than me, right? At 31, I'm 30. So, these are so important. How will you get there? You have to figure those things out. What tools to use, right? How do you use a selected tool correctly? Like figuring out what is really important. And then at the end of the day, do you even have enough money? I mean, my daughter just told me, Sean was listening on yesterday, Mom, I want to retire when I'm 30. And I'm like, that's great. I want you to retire when you're 30. How are we going to make it happen? How are we gonna have this tough conversation? Like, so I feel like these little things, as my children's mindsets grow, I'm sure listening to this, learning from this, being open-minded about what the possibilities are. I mean, my daughter is only 18, and I'm just like, wow, when she told me she wanted to retire at 30, I'm like, okay, let's make it happen. Why not? So just kind of want to put that out there.
Yeah, and Cynthia, that's so beautiful. I love that you're sharing that. And just think about it, y'all. It's because we're having this conversation, hence both sides of the conversation, that we do have these conversations. And because, I'm a witness of it. As close as Cynthia and I work together, I know her kids. I hear them talk in the background all the time when we're on Zoom and all that. And the reality is, because she has these conversations in her household, is not odd, is not weird that her daughter would say something like that. Because it's normal. It's okay. It's an open, safe space to have conversations like that. That's another reason why we're here. We want to make it normal for people to talk about finance, to talk about the tools that work for you, talk about the ones that didn't, but understand why it did work, why it didn't work. So, Cynthia, I love that. I love that so much. And thank you for sharing and really being an example that people can follow.
Thank you, Sean. So what if, right? What if? So you have to think about what ifs, because at the end of the day, that's kind of sometimes what moves us. And, looking at what happens if you don't, like, if you don't plan for anything, what are your goals, right? Your kids, college, vacation, cars, home, retirement at 50, right? And what will be your consequences, taking responsibility for yourself for the lack of proper knowledge. And that's why, it's just so important. You're saying no to your kids, no to vacations, no to car or even an extra car, no to a home or a new home, no to retirement young enough to enjoy it. I think this is just so important to really reflect and think about, because, like I said, time just keeps going. We can't stop the clock, but we can start now, and then things could be different. So I think it's just really important to think about the what ifs. And there's always emergencies that happen and things like that, people are not prepared for. And I think that we have to have that knowledge and information, and then be able to make different choices and decisions and take action, even if it feels uncomfortable. Like, Sean said, like in the beginning with my kids, they weren't having it. They didn't understand, like, why was I talking about money? Like, rich people are like, quote unquote, bad, or people who have money, but we had to break through some of those beliefs as well, like through conversation. And, I tell them my affirmations, right? Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. My income is constantly increasing, and it's manifesting itself. That's all I have to say. And that's why we're here, to help others have that shift in mindset.
Yep. Hey, and that's so spot on. It really is. And the reason we're saying this is we want people to take the time, just like we did when someone shared this with us. Take that time and really reflect on what would happen if, and that if can be, what if I do the right thing? What if I don't do the right thing? What if something happens to me in life? I get sick or injured, or God forbid, I get called home what I feel is early. What type of impact is that going to have on my family? Right? There's so many things. There's so many what ifs. So that's why it's so critical that we take advantage of the opportunities that we're given in the lifetime of that opportunity. Because the reality is, hey, somebody can start planning and getting things going, get the right plans in place. And if something happens, hey, they can be okay. Their family can still be okay. But somebody that waits just 2 days too long, they could be 2 days too late. And then again, all the things that we thought we would be able to do, or that we would think our spouse would be able to do. Would my lady have to say no to our son? Would she have to say, no, I can't take you on vacation. No, you can't go to that high school. No, you can't go to that college. No, I can't buy you a car. No, we can't get a new house. No, mommy still has to work until she's 75 years old. Think about the impacts of not doing the right thing versus the, yes, I can do that. Yes, sure, honey, we can go there. Yes, it's all good. Let's go to our vacation home. The power of doing the right thing at the right time with the right tool is immense. And we really want y'all to know and understand what that's about. So when it comes to knowing our tools, right, there's so many tools that are out there, and I'll list a few of them for y'all in a second. But understanding how to use the right tool for the right job in the right way, because if you use the wrong tool for the wrong job, or the wrong tool for the right job, but you use it the wrong way, it's not going to work very well for you. And I know a lot of times people don't move because they're scared, because they're confused. Again, that's why we're here. We want to break things down, make it simple for you. So number one, options for protecting your income. What do you do? What do you do to protect your income? Do you have anything in place to protect your income? If you think about an example I like to use, we've probably all seen those champagne towers, right? It's really cool. Got all those glasses, somebody's pouring champagne and pouring more champagne and more champagne. But what if there's no other bottle of more champagne? What happens to those bottom glasses that haven't got filled yet? Well, think of that champagne as your income that you generate because you're healthy and able-bodied to go out there and work. What would those unfilled glasses represent for you in your life? We talk to people about getting that income protection. So even if life does hit us and we get diagnosed with a chronic, critical, or terminal illness, we still have access to income that's going to allow us to continue to move forward, continue to take care of our families, and continue to pursue our goals. Next one's are retirement options. There's a ton of them out there. And what we've realized is the necessity, the goal to retire, it's been taken off the employer's shoulders, it's been placed squarely on the shoulders of the employees, but it's been done without the proper knowledge of how to do it, what tools to do, and really what's the best way to really set myself up for it. It's just do this plan, use this plan that we're giving you. But people don't understand how they work. We want to break that stuff down, make it simple, show you what your options are, and let you know you've got options outside of your job. Okay, but what your job offers you is not the only thing that you can take advantage of. The next we look at is our children's future. So many people think about, like, what's the first thing, those of y'all that have kids, or think about somebody you know that has kids, or nieces, nephews, little cousins. It's the first thing everybody always says. You got to start saving for blank. You got to get a blank plan going. Well, college, right? Everybody talks about getting those college plans going. Well, first off, who knows what college is going to be 15, 18, 20 years from now? But ask yourself this. When does life start for our kids? When they get into college, or when they finally get kicked out of college and they finally graduated, 24, 25 years old after changing the major 3 or 4 times? That's when life really starts. Have we set them up for success? Have we set them up to have access to enough money to be able to live out their dreams and not have to worry about starting their life in debt? There's options out there. The right tools exist, and we're here to show you how to use them. Number 4, that generational wealth, which y'all know is big for me. I just talked about that. That's one of the biggest dream sellers for me, is knowing how to properly set things up so I can be a blessing to that next generation and next generation and next generation. And we can have pictures of the Johnson men up on the wall, or Johnson women, both of them, right? The Johnson family, the couples that came before, that made things happen for the family. And the most important, most key part to doing that is, are we generating enough income? Because while we want to be successful in all these other areas here, guess what? If we're not bringing enough money into our homes, how can we put ourselves in a position to set up properly in all the other areas? So if y'all are liking what you're hearing tonight, reach out to us. Give Cynthia a call. Give me a call. We are looking for more qualified people that we can train up to help us go out into the communities, into your communities. Right? Do you speak another language? I know Cynthia speaks Spanish. I unfortunately speak English. So I'm a little bit limited as to the people I can speak with. So, hey, we'd love the opportunity to be able to go out there and help other communities and help them see the power of understanding how to use the right tool in the right way. There's huge, huge power in making the right choice. I'm sure we've all probably played Jenga at some point. And you're sitting there and you think you pulled the right block out, but you didn't. and the whole thing and it comes on down. But think about it, when that stack of wooden blocks is not just wooden blocks, but that's the foundation, that's the pillars that we've set up for our lives, for our children, for our grandchildren, for our families to be successful. But we made the wrong choice. And that wrong choice could be the wrong product, the wrong tool, or it could be not making a decision at all because we were too scared to make the move. There's a lot of plans out there. Not going to run through all of these, but 401k, 401a, 403b, 457, TSP. We've got different types of life insurance, term, temporary, whole life. Right? What plans are we using? What plans are y'all familiar with? Have you heard of before? Right? We've got index universal life, guarantee universal, variable universal. There's all kinds of stuff available. Plans for employees, plans for executives. How many of y'all own your own business or know someone that owns their own business? There's plans that they can use just because they're a business owner, right? Take advantage of taxes. And I mean that in a good way, right? Understand what plans to use to give you a tax advantage. Know how to set your legacy up. Right? Know how to set up plans in place so when everybody passes away, it's not going to be a burden to the family. It's going to be a blessing. Make sure we have the right plans in place. Do we have a will? Do we have a trust? Do we know the difference between the two? Do we have our advanced directives? Do we have POAs? And I specifically wanted to say POA there because how many people know what a POA is? And I know so many times we hear these acronyms, but we don't know what they mean. We've heard them before, but we don't necessarily know what they mean. POA is power of attorney. Who are we giving legal responsibility and authority to be able to speak on our behalf medically, to access our finances if we're not in a position to do so? If we have kids, have we designated someone to be the guardian for our children if we're not around, if we're not able to take care of them? All of those things, we want to have those conversations with you. They're not always the easiest ones, but you know what? We're going to make it easy and simple for you because we understand how powerful and important they are to being successful. I love this one. Yeah. Don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Thank you, Muhammad Ali. I wonder what plans he really had set up, because did anyone ever think that one of the greatest fighters ever would end up with Parkinson's? Was that ever something that he thought would be in his plans? We never know what life's going to throw at us. We've got to be prepared for whatever might come our way. So with that, it's a mindset. So we all make income. And with our income, does what? Our income allows us to spend. And our spending determines how much we're able to save from our income. And then what we're able to save, that's going to dictate our lifestyle. But it's not just our lifestyle now, it's now and then. So then is later on. Have we thought about the decisions we're making today and the impact that they will have later? That's why we go right back to, when's this time to start? Now. It doesn't matter where you're at, whether you can save money, you can't save money, you understand money, you don't understand it. It's all good. Now is the time to make that move. Because think about this, y'all. How do we live our lifestyle with the income we're making to save what we need to create the lifestyle and income we want? We've got to have those proper plans in place to be able to reach our goals. So another way of putting that is, are you willing to live your life and do the things right now that other people won't? So down the road, you'll be able to live your life and do the things that other people can't. You took that sacrifice, you made that sacrifice, that compromise, the right decision now to set yourself up for later. Now, does that mean you're eating top ramen every night? Absolutely not. But can we show you what you can do to start somewhere? Absolutely. And that's what we want to do. Starting somewhere simple could be as little as a budget. Because think about it, if we don't know how much we've got coming in compared to how much we have going out, and also where it's going out to. Yes, we need to eat. Yes, we need clothes. Yes, we need gas. But did we spend a quarter of our income eating out and on DoorDash because we didn't feel like getting up and driving out? We didn't feel like making a meal at home. We didn't feel like bringing our lunch to work. So we spend a couple $100 a month just on lunch alone. Have we thought about that? Have we looked at that? Again, just little simple things we want to bring to light. We want you to think about, hey, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? What can I do to do better? That's not just the literacy, that's the education. That's truly becoming educated about what you're doing and am I doing the right thing? How can I do better? Because we could always do at least a little bit better. We're talking about financial literacy, being financially educated, and being financially successful. Why do I have life insurance up here? Well, y'all, what are the two biggest ways that wealthy people have passed on wealth and prosperity and success and money to other generations? Real estate, life insurance. What's an acronym that wealthy people love? OPM. Other people's money. If the plans that wealthy Americans are using, if the plans that banks are using, that corporations are using, if they're good enough for them, don't you deserve at least the same thing? Give us the opportunity to show you how you can take advantage and utilize to your advantage, to your benefit, the same tools, the same strategies that wealthy Americans have used for not just decades, but generations and generations and generations to grow, protect, and pass on money, wealth, and legacy. And the last couple things we want y'all to think about, and really, really, please think about this. I'd usually love to have a graphic big, but the word's small, but I want y'all to be able to see this. How do you do what you need to do? It starts with a conversation. Have a conversation, but have a conversation with the right person. Don't have the conversation with Uncle Leroy that's been sleeping on your cousin's couch. Right? No offense to Uncle Leroy's out there if you have an Uncle Leroy. But have the conversation with the right person. Have the conversation with someone that's a professional, that's looking out for you, not just saying, hey, you should do this because this is what I offer. Sit down with somebody that actually has taken the time to be educated, that is licensed in being able to give you and show you and explain to you what your options are. Not just do this one thing just because that's what I can offer for you. Think about who the last person was, when the last time was you talked to somebody, and think about when the last time was you actually heard someone saying, hey, look, Cynthia and I are here. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to you. We want to empower you. We're not charging you to sit down and talk with you. I promise you that all the way through. We're not going to charge you. If we're able to implement some sort of plan for you, guess what? The company we connect you with, they're going to pay us. We're still getting paid. Believe me, it's a business. But we're not having to charge our clients, which means we can go out into our communities and say, hey, I don't care where you're at. We'll meet you right there. Let's break this down, make it work for you. When was the last time somebody said that? And really, when was the last time you looked at your tools, looked at the tools that are at your fingertips and broke down the tools that you have? How many of y'all have a 401k, a 403b, a 529 for the kids, a bank account? The basic plans that are out there, how many people have them? And then let's look at the basic plans that are out there. How many people truly, really and truly understand how they work and are using them to the fullest advantage that they can, versus how many people don't really know? They're scared to ask, they don't know what to ask, or they don't realize that, you know what, there's other stuff out there. I'm not limited to just what was given to me by my employer, that my uncle, my parents, my whoever told me to use. Now, my parents told me to use a lot of the same plans because that's what they knew. That's what worked for them back then. But guess what? There's more information out there. There's more tools. There's more opportunities that I promise you. And when I say promise, I don't take that lightly because all I have is my name. I promise you there's more powerful tools out there than the basic stuff that our parents and grandparents use. So with that, we definitely want to thank you all for coming on. That's our time for tonight. Hey, again, screenshot, there's our information. Give us a call. We truly, truly welcome the opportunity to be able to sit down, have a phone call, have a Zoom meeting, whatever we need to do. Heck, we can meet in person now. I love that fact too. I miss people. Whatever it is we need to do that we're able to do, we want to connect with you and be able to be a blessing to you as other people have been to us. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Sean. And I just wanted to say, like I do speak Spanish, and I do help a lot of in the Spanish-speaking community to understand, what's out there for to have their best financial future.
Yes, so we have a lot of questions, right? So we've talked about money, which is a very sensitive subject. It's a very sensitive subject, and Cynthia, me and you have a lot to relate. My father also passed, and I'm a daddy's girl, so I had to, But nonetheless, he was set up. So my dad planned everything. He picked out his casket. He did everything. He was set up. But it was detrimental for me mentally, emotionally, all of that, because I'm a daddy's girl. But nonetheless, I've always patterned myself to be business minded and make sure that I'm not washing cars to bury one of my loved ones. So we're talking about money. In our community, we come on late. We come on when we're in our 30s. We haven't worked. We have no work history. What would you say to someone entering an employment opportunity that has no work history and they're in their 30s? What do they need to do financially to make sure that they're set up right?
Well, I think, first of all, if they're starting to they need to be open-minded to see what's out there and have that conversation. And that way we can orient them and kind of help them figure it out. Set those goals and dreams. When do they want to retire? And how do they think they'll get there? That's great. I feel like I get it, at the end of the day. But, besides that, there's always more options to figure out how to generate income. So I think one of those things is to look at that, look at other options that are out there. because it, like what Sean said earlier, it's like, yeah, your job will kind of give you some benefits, but those benefits aren't going to be enough for when you retire at the end of the day, depending, right, on the lifestyle. So go ahead, Sean. I don't know if you want to take on a little bit.
I mean, that's really pretty much it. It's just having that open mind and understand that there are other options out there. And it's not a knock on anybody's job that that human resources showed you how to sign up for this plan, that plan, whatever. That's all good. Look, my dad's a retired human resource manager. That's how I ate was through human resources. So I love them and everything that they do. But the reality is that a lot of times there's people that are guiding us in an area that they simply they weren't trained and really educated in. So it's take that time for yourself to say, hey, look, what are my options? What can I do? How does this plan work? If I choose to use this tool versus this tool versus this tool, funding it as I'm able to, which one's going to give me the most benefit? And I think, especially as you said, there people start off in their 30s. They think, oh, well, I'm behind the ball. I got to save more, so I'll start saving later when I can save more. But when you start saving later, that more is much more. And you end up, you're chasing the ball instead of saying, well, let me start with whatever I can and I'll grow into that as I'm able.
So wait. So when you start with an employer and let's talk about this. We got 1%, 2%. They say, oh, we'll match up to 6%. You got somebody coming into the job market, 30 years old. They're behind the ball. They're far behind the ball. So it's kind of like I would feel very kind of pressed to put the max in and try to get ahead of the game because I'm so late. So what do you have to say to that when your employer is going to match at this top percentage? You're behind the ball, you're entering late, and you got 1%, 2%, 3%. There's a variance. So it's like, oh, well, maybe I should start low because I'll be able to have more money in my pocket. What do you say to that audience?
Well, again, we don't want you eating top ramen every night. Once in a while is okay, but not every night. So when we look at, and a great point, nothing wrong with the employer match, right? And a lot of times we'll encourage people, as long as it's financially feasible and intelligent for them, go ahead and make those contributions. Take the employee match, but also understand how that plan works. Understand the rules and the regulations that you're choosing to participate in when you participate in those 401ks, 403bs, any of those company sponsored plans. So, quick example, if I don't like getting cleats across my face and chest, guess what? I shouldn't play football. I'm going to stick to bowling, okay? Because I know the rules of those two sports. I chose the one that suited me best. Well, when we choose to participate in a 401k, do we understand that it's invested into plans that are in the market? Do we understand the risk that's associated with it, that we can lose money there? Do we understand that there's tax implications and rules and regulations for when we're allowed to access our money, when we have to access our money, when we're forced to? There's a lot that goes into that. And hey, do those rules make sense to you? If you're okay with those rules and you're savvy enough to take full advantage of that product, rock on, use it. But if not, then at least take a look at an alternative that can give you some more solid foundations for your future, where you don't have to worry about the risk in that market, especially when you're starting off later. I know that's a big thing. People say, oh, you're young. It's okay. Just ride it out. It's all good. You've got time. The less time you have, the less time you have to be able to afford those huge losses.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you said a key word there, ride it out. So I get nauseous, right? Because the financial advisor told me when you're bored, you could look at, your different accounts, but don't just monitor them because you may flip out. So I peek every now and then, but I get nauseous, right? Ride the wave. How do you keep someone's nerves, especially right now? We got banks. Let's talk about it. Silicon Valley. We got New York. We have banks that are sharing our future, what's happening. So how do you ride it out knowing what could happen. It's kind of like you're going to lose your edges, your hair, you're going to lose sleep. You know what I'm talking about. You're not going to be you're going to not be feeling well when you try to, not look, but look and then ride it out. It's like you want to blow a head gasket, right? So how do you ride it out?
Oh, I want to just, I think when we look, it depends what we're looking at, right? At the end of the day, like what are the things that we're investing in that are not, that are protected and guaranteed and in so many ways and fixed. And those were those words like index. And I think when we kind of seeing what do we have our money in, where could we have our money that is more protected. And I think once we understand that, then we'll be open and seeing and being okay with seeing what we have. But I also just wanted to, what we were talking about earlier, because that whole thing about the 401k, like again, like Sean, it's not neither good or bad, but the taxes are deferred. And I don't know, people might not even know what that means, but that means you don't pay taxes on this. So most of the time people don't know if taxes are going to be lower or higher in the future and the way things are going. So you got to put into that, mind, like the 401k sometimes becomes a 201k, depending what you're putting in there. And I think that that's the other thing. It's just the reality of seeing where your money's at and looking at other options where, where you can put it that you're not going to be pulling your hair out. I hear you. I feel you.
Yep. No, and that's it. It's knowing the rules of the game. Knowing that, no, I don't pay taxes when I put the money into it, but I do have to pay taxes when I take the money out. At whatever that tax rate is down the road. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know I got to deal with it there. And you so like, how do we deal with it with our clients, with our people for, hey, ride it out, right? Ride the wave. Because our area of focus isn't on, hey, let's go find the next Facebook and put it all in there and hope it works. No, we work in that area where we're saying, hey, let us show you, yes, we can actually legally say this. Let us show you how you can actually get guarantees for your money. Let us show you how you can utilize plans that will, as I said, give you that solid foundation where you don't have to worry about those downsides of the market. We can give you that upside potential with the downside protection. And for me, I don't like losing money. I've worked too hard for it since I was, I think I was 14 when I started working at Seabolt.
Me too, 14.
I'm not trying to lose it. I don't like that. So that's the area that we really focus on, is showing people how do you get that foundation? How do you get those guarantees of your money to not have to, oh my gosh, let me do this flamingo in the sand thing and hope for the best. I actually check my account and know, I don't know how much I'm going to make, but I know I didn't have to worry about losing a dime.
So just sharing, I love both sides of the conversation because there's always another side to the conversation. So you hear me always reference that. My grandmother has always taught us, if you're at a childbearing age and you have a child, get life insurance, right? So she's like, get life insurance. No matter how touchy the subject is, get life insurance. Because you're not going to be in a place washing cars, selling dinners, barbecue dinners, Mexican tamales, all that. We going to do all that to bury our loved ones, right? But I don't want you out there, so get life insurance. Soon as you have a child, as a person that has no financial background, they're working, they have their hands on money, what would you say that they really need to do first and foremost? What do they need to do?
Well, I think you said it in a sense too, like looking into that life insurance. I really think that's what you need to do. But like you said, it's a touchy subject. No one wants to talk about it. And that's why I'm saying, like, my father didn't have it because no one sat down and talked to him about how important it would be for our family, for my mom, who is a widow now, for my mom that, thank God, she still has, I helped her do the living trust. I helped myself do the living trust. I helped my sister do a living trust. And, realizing how important it is to have those things in place, because believe me, I was trying to break that cycle, and I did get some life insurance from a job at one point. And I didn't realize I was so underinsured that I was like, that's why I said God was good that I didn't go too soon, because my kids would have been homeless straight up. And who knows what would happen to them. But thank God that God is good. And this is why I'm where I'm at. And this is why I share what I share, because you know, how difficult now. I even shared my living trust with my kids. Like, we had that conversation that you know, my mom still, she has it, but it's still a little hard to talk about, and it's okay. You have it at least in place. But I think that that's what's, you know, important, because even as an individual, when you're 18, those are, you know, the life insurance, all those things need to be kind of in place. Something could happen to you. I have my kids even now, I mean, even before, but I'm saying now that they've turned adult age, they have to have their own.
Absolutely. Sean, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, think about this. If we talk about that, it's a difficult conversation to have now. It's a difficult conversation to talk about with our loved ones now while they're here. How much more difficult is it going to be to have when they're gone, when they're sick? What do you do then? And that's why we say, hey, let's get together. Let's have those conversations now, so that then it's not a big deal, or it's always going to be a big deal, right? We love our loved ones, but let's put ourselves in a position where we can minimize that risk. And let me see if I can share a different screen here real quick, because I didn't show this earlier, but this is definitely something that we usually do share. And it speaks right to your point of, what do you advise someone that's they're young, they're just trying to get going, they're trying to get started? Well, here's a bunch of books that we always recommend people read. Don't take our word for it. Hey, there's other info out there. But in the top right corner there, you see What Would the Rockefellers Do?
This screen is not showing your.
No. All right. Well, we'll get it up. But I'll tell you, the name of the book is What Would the Rockefellers Do? And in that book, they talk about what's been in their family decree and what they've done to set things up. Well, guess what? New child's born into the family. Within 2 weeks of that child being born, and we can all do this. I did this. Your child's born, they're 2 weeks old, they've got a social security number, policy, bam. And you set that up for whatever makes sense for you and your family. They do it for at least $1 million. Pretty cheap for a kid, actually. It's really not that bad. But think about that. I said OPM earlier, other people's money. When you're able to utilize other people's money at a low age, where your cost of that money is almost non-existent, but you get to accrue cash within that value that you can use state tax-free, federal tax-free, penalty-free, for whatever you want, whenever you want, as long as it's in there. It's insane. But there's options out there just like that people like the Rockefellers have utilized for, again, generations upon generations of generations, that say, hey, look, guess what? This is what we're doing to make sure that our family is and will always be financially stable. So look into what you can do at whatever point you're at. I always say we meet people where they're at. I don't care if you're making the most money you've ever made in your life, or you're struggling, you're just trying to figure it out. Guess what? When we're just trying to figure it out, that can also be a great time to sit down and have that conversation, so we know what we're working towards, as opposed to just going. All right. So yeah, great questions, great point there. Thank you.
Absolutely. So another to add, so we have certificates of deposit, we have IRAs. Okay, we want the best bang for our buck, but the way that these banks are going, everything's just not promising. What would you recommend that if we have a chunk of money and we need to go a route with it? We want our money to work for us, right? So what would you recommend that we do?
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever looked into where banks invest their money?
I'm uncertain of that information.
Have we looked into where companies invest their money?
Okay.
We've got some stuff. Maybe we talk about this a little bit deeper next time. But in one of the books that I showed up there, it's Money, Wealth, Life Insurance. It actually shows some stats of how much money banks have in life insurance assets. It gives you a full page list of companies that own life insurance, that have life insurance assets. And when we think about it, we're like, well, Chase isn't walking across the street texting somebody and getting run over by a Tesla. Chase can't die. CVS, Johnson & Johnson, Disney, Panera Bread, Pfizer. They're not going to be on a bike ride and get run over by a Ferrari and, oh, somebody gets a bunch of money. So why would they be using these plans? It's because they understand how they work. They understand the advantages of proper utilization of these plans. So when it comes to, hey, do I put money in the bank? Do I get a CD? Do I get a mutual bond? Do I put it in life insurance? Do I use my 401k? For each individual, you got to figure out, hey, how risk adverse are you? Do you love going to Vegas and putting it all on black and saying, yeah, it's going to be great? Or does that make your skin crawl? I can't do that. I'll take my lunch money, maybe, for a week, right? I can figure that out. But when it comes down to saving for our future, using the money that we need for the car payment, that we need for the rent, that we need for the mortgage, I don't want to gamble with that. So that's why it's important that everybody take the time to get the education on the various plans and find out, hey, how is this going to work for me? If I choose to use this tool, what is the potential this tool can do for me? Does it have the flexibility that I need that it has? Does it give me the opportunity to make as much as I need to make? Can I put as much into it as I want? I'll tell you real quick, when I had my 401k, I was excited to finally get it because I was always told to get one. I finally got it. And then 2008 came and I looked at it and said, well, I can't tell you what I said because that was very inappropriate. But I had some choice phrases I came up with because I lost money by doing what I was told to do. And I had maxed it out. They told me I got a raise. Well, what does that mean? Well, you maxed out your 401k, so you get to take more money home. Well, that wasn't a raise. That was a limitation that the government put on me that said, hey, you're not allowed to defer your taxes on any more money. You now have to take more home so you can pay your taxes now. I wasn't allowed to save more when I was blessed to be able to do so in that plan. So it's things like that. The experiences that you have, the knowledge that we can share, that we can gain, helps people choose which tool should I use and how heavily should I invest in that tool.
So that you almost shared a scary subject because Social Security. We got all these monies going in 401ks, 403bs, 457, all these different areas trying to save for the end. But where's I get Social Security deducted from my check. So it bothers me when I hear I'm not getting Social Security. I'm like, well, where's my money going? Where's my money going? So talk to the community, talk to us, talk to me about Social Security because I have a problem with that. I mean, I'm putting my money out there, but when you're telling me I'm not getting my money back and I'm putting a lot of money out there, it concerns me. So talk to us about that.
Well, I think Social Security, they've been talking about that forever, that it's going to go out and things like that. I mean, there's the book that's right there that was also on the screen, The Power of Zero. And they talk about like how, depending if you get Social Security or not, how it's all going to fit in, but not really fit in. So that's why it's just so important to start your own, investments, your own options in retirement. That's just the way how things are going. But again, like I really don't know the future. We can't tell, but they keep saying it's going to go out. Who knows if it really is, because we're still paying into it. Yeah, it's really kind of complicated around that.
And it's crazy. I mean, you look at the national debt when we're giving away trillions of dollars every other month these days. So if the national debt's raising literally constantly. Sometime we should pull up the national debt calculator. You can see the numbers are running faster than they are at the gas pump, which is crazy by itself, but we won't go there right now. There are more people living longer, right? Social Security wasn't ever intended to be a retirement plan. It was meant to supplement your income if you lived too long. Because back in the day, if you made it to 67, you were super old. Like, oh my gosh, you still here? Wow. That's not the case anymore. So what's happening to your money? My mom's getting it. My dad's getting it. Your parents are getting it. Cynthia's mom's getting it, right? Our older aunties and uncles, they getting it. The likelihood of anything substantial at all being left for us is just slim to none, because there's more people living off of it, taking out of it, than there are paying into it. I'm an independent contractor. I get 1099. I don't pay into it. And we've seen, especially with COVID, there's a lot of people that, hey, I can do my own thing. I don't even need to do this college, whatever. I don't need to work for somebody else, be an influencer. I can start my own business. I can do all of these things and set myself up and not be worried about this plan that the government was going to give me. So there's a lot to think about there. But the reality is it wasn't intended to be a retirement plan. There's more people taken out because they're living longer, and there's fewer people that are paying into it. So just basic math, it doesn't add up well.
Wow, that was a very great explanation on that. It is. Did you hear that, community? Social Security is not a retirement plan. It's the supplement. So that's very important to know, because a lot of us have pensions that are promised because we're vested. But it makes you often wonder, because I want everything, right? I'm like, I'm paid in all of this. I didn't give years of service. I want everything. I'm not going to lie, Sean and Cynthia. I want it all. But how, I heard you earlier, you said an acronym, OPM, other people's money. The rich lives. Elaborate on that, because I want to get on that. I want to get on that bandwagon and kind of ride that thing out. Tell me about that.
Well, when you look at it, and a specific example would be some of the plans, and we could certainly, hey, maybe next time we come back, we can dive real deep into this. I can actually show y'all some of the illustrations for how this works. But in that slide that I showed the types of life insurance, and I had a little bar over part of it said cash value. So there is cash value that you can accrue, that you can earn within some of these policies. Well, guess what? As long as that cash value is growing and working for you with compound interest moving in an upward direction, because again, remember, index strategy, we're zero, right? Participate in the upsides of the market with the downside protection. So as your money continues to compound in an upward motion, you end up having more money than you put into it. And there you go. When you have more than when you've earned more than you paid, you're in a positive position. And that's using somebody else's money. I didn't work for it. I just made the proper investment in it. And that's why people talk about, hey, let me play in the stock market. Look, Warren Buffett is the exception to the rule that proves the rule, that people didn't get rich playing the market, right? People got rich and had the money because they either inherited it or they had a business that they sold, something like that, and then they started playing in the market. He is the only person that's built his wealth, to my knowledge. He's the only person that's built that level of wealth strictly by investing in the market. That's not what most people do. It's just strictly, straight up, not what most people could do.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what is we gonna do? I tell you, Warren Buffett. You said I'm Warren Buffett. Wait a minute. Our money's not that long, but we're trying to get to where he's at. Nonetheless, this has been great. This Educational Thursday has definitely been educational. Financial Literacy Month. So the community, they all know what's going on. We have a lot of key points that we touched on today. So it's like, you better get in quick, get in where you fit in, and know where you see yourself at the long end, right? What are your goals? Where do you want to be when you retire? How much money is going to maintain your lifestyle? So those things are all important. It's all important, and a lot of our employers, we just don't know, because they're not lasting very long. COVID took a lot of people out. Yeah. COVID took a lot of people out. So we're leery on going under their guidance, because when you go under an employer and they're giving you all these options where to take part of your check, you're like, should I just sit on this, or should I trust this employer to put the money where they're saying they're going to put it, Nonetheless, but this has been great, very great. Sean and Cynthia, we thank you so much for coming. Is there anything that you can share with the community? Sean, I see you have your hat on. Yes, both sides of the conversation. We are here. We have a skating party coming up. I don't know if you heard that earlier. You got to know how to skate. I don't know if you all know how to skate, Cynthia.
Yes, I do. Sure do.
I heard.
I went last year.
I
Yeah,
Yes, you know how to skate backwards.
a little
I
bit.
don't, but guess what? I've got plans in place. If I fall on my back while I'm skating backwards, I'll still be financially okay.
Talking that money talk, I tell you. Yes. So both sides of the conversation have a lot of things coming up. We have skating events, homeless feeds. There's a lot of things coming up. So community, please listen to what Sean and Cynthia have presented. If you all can please send your farewells to the community, wrap up what you would like to share with them before we go out on this evening. It has been a great evening with the information that you've shared, because right now it's not looking too promising. I mean, with these banks shutting down, two big crashes. I mean, that concerns me. I got old staff reaching out to me, get your money out the bank, get your money out the bank. And it's like, wait a minute, you have to order cash and have it stacked up. Now you have a risk at home. It's like, what are we going to do? So can we share something with the community in closing tonight with our Educational Thursday?
Well, I just want to say thank you again to both sides of the conversation. Even, John's not here, but John, shouts out to him for always being that leader to kind of encourage, this information out there. And then I want to just encourage people to reach out. My number is 415-286-0616. Pretty easy to remember. I like phone better. And of course, I think reaching out to Sean or I, whoever you feel most comfortable, we'll always work together and figure out where you're at. And, I'm just thankful. Just keep in mind this whole month, right? It's Financial Literacy Awareness Month. This is the time, this is the day, to make a different decision, take action, not only for yourself, but for your family and whatever your family looks like, even if it's just you, at the end of the day. So thanks again for having us tonight.
Yes, and as always, huge thank you to both sides of the conversation. John Henry, I know you're out there grinding like always. Appreciate you, brother, for show. And look, y'all, again, the plea from us is we care about your community. We love your community. You are our family. We want to get out there. We need to get out there because we need this stuff. We deserve this stuff. Okay? It's not just for the other people. It's for us. And it starts with having a conversation. So please reach out to us, email, text, Facebook, Instagram, carrier pigeon. I don't care however you do it. Just get a message over to us and let's have that conversation about, hey, what can we do that's next? Let us show you what other people have been doing. It's nothing new with no magic tricks to it. It's just a matter of being exposed to this information. Right? We think about it, you look at the banks. Are the banks investing in themselves? No, they're investing in the insurance companies. So if I showed up here talking on both sides of the conversation, I had a hat on that says, chat with Sean on Sunday. What? I'm not supporting what I'm on that I say I'm supporting. So why would I invest with somebody that doesn't invest into themselves? That's silly. That doesn't make any sense to me. So give us the opportunity to pour into you, to share that information with you. And like I said before, if you're liking this information, if this is kind of giving you that little tug, that little call, say, you know what, I've been thinking about earning some extra money. Or, you know what, my community does need this. I speak another language. My people do need to hear this. Let's connect on that level too. Because we are looking for qualified individuals that have that desire, that have that need, that want to go out and help and give back, just like we're doing, to whatever your community is. So give us a shout. We'd love to chat with you, see what we can do to help out you and your family first and foremost. But again, this is about getting back and giving back to our communities. So we welcome the opportunity. Hey, Financial Literacy Month, no time like the present to get started. So thank you all for your time. We appreciate you. And again, both sides of the conversation, thank you all so much for everything you're doing to be a part of the community. And shoot, y'all doing events where you're throwing dollars out in the air and saying kids have at it. Well, what else
And
can
the
you do? You
elders,
got to
that
show
was
up and
so
support her.
sweet. And the elders, I was there. Actually, my aunt was like so, oh my God, she was so happy.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Both sides of the conversation, we bless the people. Just as you both, Cynthia and Sean, you've blessed the people tonight. You're truly blessings to the community because financial literacy, you know that old saying, money makes the world go round. It's important, and it does. So we need to know what to do with those dollars that go out in the air when we're blessing the people. Because when you're spending $6, $7 at Starbucks, that could be an actual life insurance premium for the month, right? That could be one step closer of you not washing cars trying to get burial money for the ground opening to bury your loved one. I mean, there's a lot into it. You don't want that trauma of having that burden on your shoulders while you're trying to put away a loved one the right way. You have to worry about getting the money as well. Financial literacy is very important. And Sean and Cynthia, we really appreciate you coming and presenting us on this Educational Thursday. And although the bishop is not here, John Henry is not here, of course, he's always in the community. He's always blessing the people. And we uphold that here at both sides of the conversation. And if everyone has not subscribed, liked, commented on our YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, Cynthia and Sean has educated you today. This is the reason why you should actually subscribe, because you need to hear these conversations. You need to understand what's going on out there and what day and time that we're in. So as we've shared, I'm going to go ahead and share what we've all learned tonight because it's important. So you need to know where you see yourself in the long run. What does your retirement look like? How old do you plan to retire? What is your lifestyle? What do you have to contribute to that lifestyle? How much money are you able to save and still not eat top ramen, as Sean shared? We don't want to eat beans and top ramen because I tell you, I ate those dry top ramens and we shook them up in a brown paper bag with the seasoning like they were chips. I swear that was not fun, and I won't eat noodles to this day because of that. But I tell you, community, we need to make sure that we are ready to retire, that we see what that end result is, and that we're contributing to that. If we are young and just entering the workforce, go ahead, jump in. Make sure that you have life insurance on yourself at least. Don't put that burden on someone else. If you have loved ones, children, not only insure yourself, put your children in a policy. Make sure that they're taken care of. Because when that trauma hits, which we never know. You heard the world news. You never know when things will happen. We have folks driving on their way to restaurants, Outback, to celebrate birthdays, and their lives are taken. You never know that day or time when your clock runs out. So make sure that you are set up. Get a life insurance policy. Cynthia shared, health is wealth. Okay, it equals wealth. So make sure that you're making those doctor's appointments, making sure that your life is in order, that you're working out and making sure that your blood is circulating, that you're not eating everything. Make sure you're on track to live longer. And always, always take care of yourself. Take care of the ones around you. Check on a loved one. You know, there's a lot going on. We have earthquakes that are happening in the Bay Area. We have them about to happen in Colombia. We just never know when that time will come. But you want to make sure that you're financially set, that your loved ones don't have the burden of your shortcomings, especially when you've come here to our Educational Thursday and you've been educated on financial literacy. So community, we thank you all for tuning in tonight. Cynthia Yannacone.
Say one thing.
What?
I'm sorry. Thank you. I just have to say one thing because what you're saying is so important. And I just, I'm here and I'm good. I'm standing, strong. But like what you said, life is just, you just never know. And I want to kind of honor my partner's younger brother who was 16, who passed away, just last week. It was a week, and it was just sad. And he's 16 and none of us expected this to happen. And this is real. I mean, it's really devastated our family, but here we are still going. And he passed away in his country of origin, which is Honduras. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter where that happens, it happens. And you feel the loss and you kind of figuring out what to do when you can do it. So it's so real. And thank you for allowing me to share that. Gives just a prayer thought to his spirit. 16, gone, too young. And his name was Samael Hueta. And I just thank you for for letting me share that, because I think it's so real. Thanks.
Well, to the family of Samuel Huerta, I tell you, I have visited the country, Honduras, and God bless the family, because we need power and strength in these times. 16 years old, too long, too short, and it had a very long promising future, but we have to understand everything happens for a reason, and just kind of trust that it'll be all right in
Yeah.
the end. Nonetheless, we appreciate you for sharing that, Cynthia, and God bless your family, because that is detrimental, very detrimental, especially over there, because it's not set up like here. It's not set up. There's not the resources. But nonetheless, I tell you, when the love can go beyond the waters, the winds, and you can just, your prayers go beyond that. That's what we ask for. We ask for that because it's very important for us. Nonetheless, but we do want to make sure, as always, that we continue to check on our family, our loved ones, and love them, extend the gratitude and appreciation. And if you have an ought with someone, forgive them. It doesn't hurt to forgive and get the burden off your shoulders, right? You don't want that weight, because how can you make good financial sound decisions when your mind is fumbled up with a bunch of anger, wrath, and animosity? So make sure you free yourself of all of that and love your family, love everyone, love the people that you encounter, because you never know who it is. And we always want to extend a great-heartedly thank you for being with us on this Thursday evening. Anything else more to share? See us on Sunday, because Sunday we will have another show, 4 p.m. Both sides of the conversation will be presenting to you on child support and how it affects the Black community. So this will be a very strong topic, child support. One more time, child support and how it affects the Black community, because child support is something that is a very, very touchy subject. And that's for men and women, as well as how we're talking about finances, how that money is spent, and then we have our hidden gem segment on Tuesday. So please be in tune, ring the bell on our YouTube, subscribe to us, and follow us. We thank you, community, for spending your Thursday evening, educational evening, on Financial Literacy Awareness Month, because you should know Cynthia and Sean has brought it to you this evening. We thank you, and we'll see you on Sunday. Have a good evening and good night.